Hey now, what is up everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka ReviewKingMB, and originally I was going to do this review for my 31 Days of Horror, which I do plan on doing again this year. But once I found out that Jeepers Creepers 3 is coming out a little earlier than October, actually September, I thought, well, let's just speed this up. So, Jeepers Creepers, the first one, came out in 2001. It was written and directed by Victor Salva. The plot is we meet this brother and sister, Derry and Trish. They are driving home, long trip home from college, and you see them being your typical brother and sister, bickering back and forth. Just, I guess, having that normal sibling relationship until they damn near get run off the road from some crazy trucker person. But then they realize that there's something up with this guy. He seems to be dumping dead bodies down some sewer, and they want to investigate. They want to make sure they're seeing what they're seeing. But obviously they get caught way too in deep, and you find out that this isn't just some crazy trucker. This is a thing. A creeper. Now, what I think of Jeepers Creepers is, I actually really enjoyed this movie. I do. And I remember when this movie first came out, I wasn't really interested by it. Didn't really know a whole lot about it. A friend of mine sort of sat me down and convinced me, said, you gotta watch this movie. It's something different. It's something new. So I watched it, and yeah, I found it creepy. I found it disturbing at times. Look at the two main characters, Derry and Trish, brother and sister, where I feel like we don't get enough horror movies where it's a brother and sister dynamic. It's always boyfriend, girlfriend, or it's always someone pining over someone that they can't have. It's like, let's just have two siblings. So you already have that dynamic there. You already have that relationship, and seeing them go back and forth. I feel like these two are siblings. I like Justin Long. He's very funny and natural charisma, naturally likable. And Gina Phillips, she does give off, I guess, a bitchy vibe. And when they encounter this trucker, at first, it seems like it's going to play out like any other horror movie that you might have seen before, like Joyride or The Hitcher, where it's like, oh, you've crossed the wrong person. You don't know who's behind the wheel. And that plot, yeah, maybe you've seen it a couple times, but it's still scary. It's still, you can easily put yourself in that scenario and go, fuck, if that was me, what would I do? But then once you see that this creeper, this person, is more than just a person. He's not a person. He's this grotesque monster creature. He looks damn near demonic. Like, you don't know. This movie never really tells you what he is. And the one scene where he cuts the cop's head off and eats his tongue. And you're just like, what the fuck? I can understand if some people watch this and think, it would have been scarier if he was just a guy. If he was just some guy who was crazy and wanted to kill you. And maybe that's true. But at the same time, I can sit there and put myself in these characters' shoes and think, man, if this was real, if you did encounter that thing, like, what would you do? What would you begin to do? Because there's no fighting whatever this fucking thing is. Also, I can see if you watch this and you get frustrated with the two main characters. In fact, watching this, rewatching it, this time especially, I was like, wow, these characters do things that make you go, what the fuck? Why are you doing this? Why is Justin Long so quick to want to see the dead bodies that are in that well? Or whatever it is. I know he gives this whole speech on, what if that was you? Wouldn't you want to be helped? And all this stuff. And it's like, okay, he's going for the more noble approach. But still, I wouldn't fucking do it. So when shit goes wrong, you only feel bad to a point. And there's so many times, so many moments where it's like they have the creeper knocked down, they run him over, and then they just sit there and watch him. Or they're not quick enough to leave. And those are moments, yeah, you're getting frustrated, you're yelling at the TV, like, come on, fucking move, or run, or do whatever. the old lady in her house with the cats. Like, so many scenes where you're yelling at them, but that's what horror movies do, or at least that's what a lot of horror movies do. The psychic calls Justin Long and somehow knows everything down to what he's wearing and what's gonna happen. And her character was a little creepy. Sure, she's helping them, but even she doesn't really know how she can do this or what all of it really means. The Jeepers Creepers song. Jeepers Creepers, how'd you get those eyes? Such a weird song, such a song that you wouldn't normally think is scary or creepy, but this movie does make it that way. Look, this creeper, like I said, is gross. He's just the practical effects I do appreciate about it. Jonathan Breck plays the creeper, and he does a good job. You know, I mean, he doesn't talk, he doesn't say anything, but he just has that presence, those facial expressions. He just brings out his wings. You're like, what the fuck is this? He has wings now too? So cut to the end of the movie. Now, I guess I shouldn't spoil the end of the movie. I almost want to just talk about it, but if you haven't seen it, then what's the point? I'm just gonna say that I'm not the biggest fan of the ending. Like, the very last shot of the movie just leaves me uneasy, and some people say that's the point. You're not always gonna have the type of ending that you want in life or just any situation. So I get it. I do. Just let me know in the comments below, what do you think of it? Do you like it as well? Do you think it's creepy and scary, or do you think it's lame? Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later!
These silent screams became a part of me. I'm moving past that. Please won't you free my soul? Can't hardly breathe in this society. I'm just a madman. Please, Mr. Real.